This is lesson 7.4 visual summary. I'm going to try to go through this because this is long quickly, so if you need to replay anything, feel free to do that. The table shows the cost for boarding your dog at two different locations. So I have the number of days that we're boarding. Here's the cost at doggy daycare. Here's the cost at dog dorm. So it's asking, what is the difference in price to board your dog from doggy daycare from 2 days to 1 day? Well, 2 days is 75, and we said difference, and 1 day is 40. So it looks like this went up $35. What's the difference in price to board your dog from the same place from 3 days to 2 days? So 110 minus 75 is also 35. And now what about from 4 days to 3 days? So that's 145 minus 110 is again 35. So I can see that every time this is going up $35. So it's asking for question 4, how does the total cost of boarding at doggy daycare change when the day's boarding increases by 1 except the first day? Notice the first day it's 40, but each additional day it's 35. So it goes up by 35 for each additional day. Okay, now they're going to have us do the exact same thing here with the dog dorm. So I'm not going to write it. Well, maybe I will. 2 days to 1 day is 115 to 100. That's $15. So if I go up and put 15 into my table, you can see where I added that. Okay, from 3 days to 2 days, 130 and 115 is $15 again. So here is another 15. Question 7, 4 days to 3 days, 145 and 130 is $15 again. So how does the total cost of boarding at dog dorm change when the day's boarding increases by 1 except the first day? Because again, now looking at this place, it's a lot of money for the first day. But then each additional day, it just kept going up by 15. So how did it increase? It increased by 15 for each additional day. So they want us to write an expression, and we're going to put this up here for number 9. Write an expression for both boarding locations in terms of D days of boarding. And we're going to add it to the table. So again, I'm trying to put this in words. It is $40 for the first day. So no matter how many days I board, it's $40 first. But then it's $35 for all of the days after the first day. So all the days, but not the first day, it's going to cost me $35. So let's say I boarded for 10 days. It would cost me $40 for the very first day. And for 9 of the days, it would cost me $35. 10 minus 1, 9 times 35. Okay, let's look at this one. It's $100 always for the first day. Plus, it's $15 for every single day, but not the first. So see if you can phrase it in words. It's very easy to turn that into an expression. Why did I use parentheses? Because 15 is being multiplied. Let's say I did 10 days. It's $100 for the first day. It's $15 for 9 of the days. So even though I'm boarding for 10 days, it's 10 minus 1. It's 9 days that I'm being charged $15. Okay, when we read down below, question 10 says to simplify each expression, add it to the table. So when I look at this expression, what can I do? Follow order of operations. I can't do the parentheses because I can't combine D with just numbers. So I have no exponents, but I have multiplication right here. So I can write 40. Now I'm going to distribute plus 35D, and then 35 times -1, -35. Now I can keep going. My only D's are the 35D, but I can combine 40 minus 35, and I get positive 5. So here is my simplified expression. This is the same thing as this. This makes sense to my problem, but I can simplify, and this is now going to be easier for me to use. Let's do the same thing here. So I have 100 plus distribute 15D minus 15. Now I need to combine like terms. 15D is my only D's. 100 minus 15 is 85. So here are my two simplified expressions. Now I'm going to go to question 11. After how many days would the cost be the same at both boarding locations? So I'm going to use those simplified expressions from up above. We had 35D plus 5 has to be equal. These two have to be equal to each other. 15D plus 85. So now I'm going to solve this. I need to subtract 15D from both sides. And I'm going to write that over here then. So 35 minus 15 would be 20D. I'd still have plus 5 equals, and on this side I'd have 85. Now I need to subtract 5 from both sides. And again, I'm going to just kind of keep carrying over because I ran out of room here. So I get 20D equals 80. Divide each side by 20. I get D equals 4. That means that at 4 days, and notice it's true, I see it in my table, at 4 days the cost would be the same. It says after how many days would the cost be the same? We just proved it algebraically by setting the two expressions equal to each other and solving. So what recommendation would we make to somebody? Again, let's look back at our table. This is when the cost is the same. That means before that, one of the two places will be cheaper, and after it, the opposite will be cheaper. So all I have to do is really look at any one of these. So I'm going to look at 3. At 3, doggy daycare is cheaper. So above, when they're the same, we can say doggy daycare is our better deal. And so then that means that after the point when they're the same, the opposite's going to be a better deal. And let's just prove it. Let's look at 5. It's going to be cheaper at dog dorm. So here, dog dorm is the better deal. So now let's go back and look at that bottom question. It says, what recommendation would you make to someone looking to board based solely on cost? So I would say and I'm always using that break-even point. So at 4 days, the cost is the same. Now I'm going to say, but if we're going less than 4 days, then you want to use doggy daycare. And if you're going to be using it for more than 4 days, then it's the opposite one. Then we want to use dog dorm. So again, whenever you're doing this, once you find the break-even point, so it was the same here, it means before this, and we can see that every time, one of them will be cheaper. I see it's doggy daycare, it's doggy daycare, it's doggy daycare. I don't need to prove it even 3 times. I just know that before it, I need to look at one of the numbers before it, and I need to look at one of the numbers after it. And one will be a better deal before, the opposite will be a better deal after.